Hello everybody, welcome back to BearFit On Demand. This is our second workout of the week, our mobility workout with a little bit of core as well. For today's class, all you'll need is your body weight, a mat. If you have a broomstick, we'll also use we'll use a dowel rod here for this class as well. So let's get started. Okay, so today we're gonna get started with a little warm up before we do our stretching. So we're gonna start by jogging in place, nice and easy and light here. And let's get started right now. And we're in this jog and we're gonna try and get some blood flow to our working muscles and get warmed up. It'll make life a lot easier when we stretch. Let's go right into a jumping jack here. Nice and soft on your knees and the balls of your feet. Big arms here. Just trying to get a little bit warmed up for this stretch. And we'll run through this warm up somewhat quickly. Let's go right into our skier here. We're jumping and switching. Arms are nice and long. Trying to find a rhythm between my arms and legs and stay in that rhythm. We'll go through this warm up 2 times here. And let's go right into our mummy kicks. We're gonna tap our toes, crisscross our arms, and stay here for another 10 seconds as we continue this warm up. We're gonna go into our lateral movement here, nice back and forth bounce, picking my knees up after I plant, pushing off the edge of my foot, staying tight in my core, maintaining a nice rhythm if I can. Okay, back to our jog in place. Picking my knees up a little higher this time. Pumping my arms a little harder. We've only got 4 more moves of this warm up. Right into our jacks here, jumping jacks. Arms all the way up and all the way down. We've got skiers next here in 5 seconds. Okay, right into our skier. A little bounce and switch. Trying to maintain some coordination between my right arm and left leg. And we've got mummy kicks next. And we're mummy kicking. Hands at shoulder height. Crisscrossing our hands quickly, tapping our toes. We've got 1 more warm-up move after this. We're gonna go to laterals here in 5 seconds. And lateral movement. Last move of the warm-up. It's a little lateral bounce. Kind of exaggerated arms. And we'll stay here for 10 more seconds. 5 seconds left. All right, and rest and shake it out. Okay, so we're gonna find our mat and we're gonna get nice and wide on this mat. And we're gonna just do a basic stretch down the middle and to the left and to the right. And let's start with the middle here. And 3, 2, 1. And we're pushing our hips back. Your hands can touch the mat if it's possible. Feel free to hang those hands down. Hang our head down. Continue to breathe normally. And let's walk our hands over to our left side for 15 seconds here. Feel the stretch in your hamstrings. Do your best not to hold your breath. We're hanging on for 3, 2, 1. And then over to the right side here for 15 more seconds. Feeling that stretch on the right leg. Pushing my hips back. We got 5 seconds left here. All right, back to the middle. And let's kind of get our feet back together. I'm gonna change direction here and we're gonna do inchworms. For this next move, we're just gonna go 5 reps of inchworms here. So we're kind of gonna do a fold over and then walk our hands out, okay? And then walk our hands back and then stand all the way up, okay? So that's 1. So bend, walk, out to a high plank, back out, stand all the way up. That's 2. Hips back, hands on the mat, walking all the way up, hold, push back. That's 3. Hands down for 4, we're walking out into a high plank, push back. And we got 1 more here. Walking out, hold a high plank, walk back, stand on up. Now we're gonna stay put here and we're gonna just hold a fold over stretch. And we're gonna hold this fold over stretch for 30 seconds, okay? And we're in it right now. Let those hands hang down. Let our head hang. Slight bend in the knee. I should feel this in my lower back and my hamstrings. Letting my muscles stretch out a little bit from that work we did the other day. We've got about 5 seconds left here. All right, let's tuck our chin and stand on up slowly. So I have a PVC pipe here. You could grab a broomstick or anything of this similar length. You could also use a band with this, for some of these at least. So what I'm gonna start here is with just a basic pass through. So just a chest opening stretch. I'm gonna make sure my hands are nice and wide, okay? And I'm gonna pass this PVC pipe through and then all the way back, then all the way through. We're gonna do this for 10 reps. So that's 1, that's 2. Now, as you do more of these, you can kind of inch your hands closer together. And it should feel like you're pulling this PVC pipe apart. That's 3, nice and controlled. 4. I want to make sure that you're not bending your elbows or jerking through on this movement. That's 5. Feel the stretch in your chest. Open up that chest. That's 6. We got 4 more. All the way down. 3 more. Letting this PVC pipe open up my chest. Last 2. And we have 1 more pass through here. All right, now we're gonna bring this PVC pipe in line with my chest. And we're gonna do a figure 8 here. So I'm gonna bring the PVC pipe over my head and behind. Then my other arm, I'm gonna bring the PVC pipe back in front. And I'm gonna keep this PVC pipe at chest level. So I'm not gonna let it fall all the way back down like I did for those pass-throughs. I'm gonna keep it nice and high. And I'm gonna go through these somewhat quicker than the pass-through. So I'm gonna stay here, out in front, over, back, over, okay? And I'm just gonna fall right into a rhythm. Big circles with my shoulders. That's 5, 7, 2 more. Okay, now we're gonna switch directions with this figure 8. So we're gonna take our left arm, then it's gonna lead. We're just gonna go with that same movement. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3 more, 9, 10. Okay, so we'll shake that out. Next up, we're gonna go with a basic overhead squat. And for this, we'll use this PVC pipe. You could also use a band for this. Some of you may need to elevate your heels. If you have something where you can put your heels up, it'll make life a lot easier. Or if you need to modify your range of motion, feel free to do that. I'm going to put this PVC pipe on my head, and I want my elbows to be a little bit wider than 90 degrees, just to make my life a little easier. And we're gonna lock it out. I'm gonna get my feet shoulder width apart, toes slightly out, and I'm gonna squat all the way down. We're gonna go for 10 reps here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want you to check from the side to see my depth. And this dowel rod should be right over the middle of my foot the whole time. There's 6, 7, 8, 9, and one more. That's 10. Okay. Now we're gonna go into a deep squat. We're gonna hold our squat, and we're gonna have this PVC pipe be an assistant to our stretch. So some people, this is sort of an upper back mobility exercise. So some people, you may not need this PVC pipe. You can just hold your hand up. I'm gonna use it to help me. I'm gonna sit at the very bottom of my squat, and I'm just gonna hold here and look at this PVC pipe. And I'm gonna hold it for 30 seconds and go. So I'm looking up. This is rather uncomfortable for me. I'm trying not to turn my body, but I know this is my tight side. So I'm just gonna breathe normally, sit in this deep squat, keep my knees out. We've got 12 seconds left here. And I'm looking up. We're getting close. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Stand up. Shake our legs out a bit. We're gonna do that same thing on the other side for 30 seconds. So let's squat on down, same idea, and go. So this side's a little bit easier for me. I'm still breathing normally. I'm working a little bit here, a little discomfort in my lower body holding this squat. This is definitely a looser side for me. We've got about 10 seconds left. Continue to breathe. 3 seconds, 2, 1, and rest. Shake out those legs. So for our next circuit, we're gonna be on the mat. We're gonna do some push-ups, some plank build-ups, and a few core moves. So we're gonna be in a push-up position. You can modify this by being on the tops of your knees for the push-ups and the build-ups. And you can modify your range of motion if need be. On the push-ups, we're gonna do a hand release push-up, okay? So we're gonna go to the bottom of our push-up, release our hands, and then push ourselves away from the floor for 10 reps. So let's get started. When I'm doing these push-ups, I wanna have my hands directly underneath my shoulders, hands slightly internally rotated, and here we go. So I'm going down, release, push, that's 1. Down, release, push, that's 2. Down, release, push, 3. Down, release, push, 4. Down, release, push, that's 5. Down, release, push, that's 6. Down, release, push, that's 7. Down, release, push, that's 8. Down, release, push, that's 9. Down, release, push, 10, and hold. Now we're gonna go down to a low plank, then up to a high plank. That's 1, down, 2, down, 3, down, 4, down, that's 5, down, 6, down, 7, down, 8, down, 9, we have one more here. Push away, that's 10. All right, now we're gonna flip on our backside and we'll make things a little bit easier. We're gonna go with a oblique crunch. So I'm gonna cross my legs as so. I'm gonna have my head in my hand here, or my right elbow, or my right hand, my right elbow to my left knee. And we're gonna go for 30 seconds. So here we go, 3, 2, 1. And I'm crunching up. I'm doing my best not to crank on my head. Just trying to keep some tension in my stomach as we go here. Nice and controlled movement. My offhand is kind of like a post on the ground. We've got about 10 seconds left. 5 seconds. Let's do one more rep here. Okay, switch legs. And we'll begin in 3, 2, 1. I'm crunching elbow to knee, really squeezing my core at the top of this movement, controlling the downward portion of this crunch. We're halfway through here. I'm just squeezing up to the top, not cranking on my neck. We've got 5 seconds left. Big crunch. Last rep. All right. Now we're going to run through that one more time. We're gonna start with our push-ups, build-ups, and we'll go through those 2 other core movements. So we'll start on our push-up. We're gonna go 10 more hand release. I'm gonna count them out. Here we go. Hands under our shoulders. We're going down, release, up. That's 1, down, release, up. 2, down, release, up. 3, down, release, up. 4, down, release, up. 5, down, release, up. 6, down, release, up. 7, down, release, up. 8, down, release, up. 9, down, release, up. 10, and hold. Now we're going low plank, high plank. That's 1, 2, down, 3, 4, 5 more, 6, 7, 8, 9, one more, big push, that's 10. All right, we're gonna go back on our backside for more of those oblique crunches. 30 seconds here. Here we go in 3, 2, 1, and we're crunching up, feeling some tension in our belly. I'm trying to get your belly to burn up a little bit. We're just getting started on this one. Elbow to knee, big squeeze at the top. We've got about 10 seconds left. Trying to keep that shoulder blade off the ground. Last rep. And switch legs. And here we go. In 3, 2, 1, and crunch. So trying to at least get my shoulder blade off the ground on these crunches. And doing my best to control my torso on the way down, back toward the ground. We're halfway through. And we're just getting reps in here. Okay, and we got one more rep here. All right, now let's extend our legs here and let's go with flutter kicks. Let's try and keep our lower back flat on the ground. You can put your hands or fists under your glutes. The higher your legs go, the easier it'll be. You can also modify by bending your knees and tapping on the floor. Otherwise, you can keep your feet and legs parallel to the ground. We're gonna go for 30 seconds here. Ready, and go. So we're fluttering, thinking happy thoughts. Your belly might be burning up a little bit, but we're already 10 seconds in. We got 20 seconds left, and we're just trying to get some work in. That's halfway. We're getting there. Give me 10 seconds left. Almost there. 5, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, we're gonna finish this out with some stretches. So we're gonna go back on our mat here, and we're gonna go with a modified cobra, or you can do a full cobra stretch here. I'm gonna be flat on the ground, and we can push up away from the mat, or you can go on your elbows. If you feel any pain in your lower back here, you can go on your elbows. We're just trying to get our chest up off the ground, kind of stretch out our anterior chain that we just worked a bit there in the previous moves. And we're just gonna stay here for 30 seconds. The clock's running. If you feel comfortable, you can push all the way off of the ground here. But if you have really long arms or if you're really tight, you can just stay here on your elbows. We've got 10 more seconds here. Shouldn't be terribly uncomfortable. We got 5 seconds. Okay, we're gonna pop up on our knees. We're gonna sit all the way back to a child's pose here with our head through our arms. We're gonna go for 30 seconds. So here we go in 3, 2, 1. We're sitting our hips back, head on the ground, breathing normally, really trying to push our hips down and back. And release some tension that we may have in our lower body or in our shoulders, chest. We've got 10 seconds left. 5 seconds. All right, and let's get back up here. Next up, we're gonna stick one leg out. We're gonna be on the knee of the other leg. And we're gonna do a long adductor stretch. Okay, we're gonna hold this for 30 seconds. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. So I'm gonna bring my elbows to the ground. I should feel a significant stretch in my groin area and my adductor muscles here. And I'm gonna keep my hips back and down. And I'm just gonna let that muscle relax and stretch out a bit. We'll be here for another 10 seconds. We've got 5 seconds left and we'll switch legs. All right, let's pop up and we're gonna switch legs here. Same idea, 30 more seconds. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Sitting our hips back, feeling a pretty intense stretch in my adductor muscles from working them with all those squats we did the other day. Feeling pretty tight. We've got 15 more seconds here. I'm trying to take big breaths, trying to relax this leg that's being stretched. We've got 5 seconds. And relax. Okay. Next up, we've got a QL stretch. This is my personal favorite stretch. We're going to position our body like so. So both knees bent. I'm just gonna pick a side. We'll switch sides. But as you can see, I have my knees bent, kind of like a hurdler stretch on one leg, and then my other leg's bent in. And what I'm gonna do here, you can do this a few different ways. You can either just turn and bring your elbows down to the ground, and you're gonna feel a significant stretch here in your hip. You can also pop your hip up and hold your arm up. That's what I'm gonna do for this stretch, because I feel a little more intense when I do that. Pick whichever one you feel a nice, comfortable stretch. And we're gonna hold this for 30 seconds here. We're gonna start in 3, 2, 1, and I'm just extended my hips, feeling a significant stretch here in the front side of my hip. Popped up off the ground. My down arm's doing a little bit of work, keeping my body weight off the floor. I'm just breathing normally. And let's go 10 more seconds here. Big reach. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Down. And we'll switch sides. Same idea. I'm gonna pop my hips up, but again, you can just turn and put your elbows on the ground if you prefer that method. We're gonna go for 30 more seconds. Here we go, we're popping those hips, and big long stretch with the arm. I'm feeling a pretty significant stretch here in this leg, in this region here. Big reach, my arms planted on the ground. I'm pushing my hips forward. We've got 8 seconds left. 5, 3, 2, 1, and hips down. Okay, our final stretch of the day, we're gonna do a nice long hip flexor stretch. Something I always mention in our classes that I would like to spend more time doing. We're gonna do that today. I have a plyo box here, but you can use anything that elevates your back foot, whether it be a chair or a stool or a stack of books or your couch, okay? If you have something that's too high for your flexibility, you can stack something underneath your down knee, whether it be mats or something comfortable, clothes perhaps. So I'm going to be in a hip flexor stretch here. My back leg is elevated, and I'm just gonna hang out in this stretch. We're gonna go for a whole minute here, okay? We're gonna start in 3, 2, 1, and go. So we're gonna hang out here, and I'm feeling a significant stretch because I've elevated this back foot. So I'm feeling a stretch in the lower portion of my quadricep toward my knee and also my hip. You can intensify this stretch by contracting the glute of the down knee. That may be too intense for some people, but it's a way to make this stretch a little bit more intense. And I can feel my hip flexor slowly starting to stretch out. It's fighting it. We spend so much time sitting that our hip flexors get shortened over time because they stay in that shortened position. And that can create a lot of back problems. So spending time stretching your hip flexors out can be really important. We've got 10 seconds left on this leg. 5 seconds. I would recommend doing this stretch often. All right, and let's go ahead and switch legs here. I'm gonna find the elevated foot, hold here, get this front leg out, and we're gonna start another minute here in 3, 2, 1. All right, you may notice one side of your hip flexor, or one hip flexor may be more flexible than the other, so you may need to spend more time on a particular side. Like for instance, my left side is tighter in general for pretty much everything I do. So I spend a little more time stretching my left side. That can be due to a bunch of different factors. But at the end of the day, making sure you're spending some time on these hip flexors. So the most common areas where people are really tight, hip flexors, and then your upper back, or your chest is really tight, which causes some upper back issues. So the upper back mobility stuff we did earlier, the chest opening, and the hip flexor stretches are gonna probably be the most profound stretches in terms of seeing some immediate changes in your mobility. We've only got 5 seconds left with this hip flexor stretch. 3, 2, 1. All right. All right, everybody, that's it for today's mobility workout. Thank you all for joining our BearFit On Demand, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. Have a great week.